Okay, good afternoon and welcome to our second Mother's Luncheon. And we hope that today's program will go as well as yesterday's. I wanted to begin by saying how grateful I am to the Mothers Club. And in particular, I wanted to highlight that last night as I reflected on my day and this aspect of the day, this program yesterday, I was particularly struck by the optimism, the spirit, the strength of the people that are working in the Mothers Club this year. And to be specific about that issue, the number of people that got up and said we're going to have a virtual art show, or we're going to have a very different spaghetti supper. And having such a good attitude about that is a really good reminder about how to manage this pandemic, because I see some of the darker sides of this in some of the dealings I have with people who are just understandably frustrated. But it was a real highlight of my day to reflect on that issue. I'd like to ask the people in the hallway to come in first, because we're trying to streamline this program and not have quite as many speakers, since this is about the whole high school today. So first on my right is Annie B. Williams. A lot of you know her or have seen the information she sends out about the Service Club, which is active. In fact, one of our fathers just wrote me about the Service Club this morning, in particular about Loaves and Fishes Soup Kitchen. He's the chair of that, and how appreciative he is of what we're doing. So please contact Annie B. Williams if you have any questions about our Service Club. Next to Annie B. is Michelle Ardisson, who is the school nurse. Michelle is a very qualified individual for this role, and perhaps even greater than her qualifications is her interest in and care for MBA. She's been part of the school for a number of years by working with her husband Mark, who's director of technology and helping coach the shotgun team. But she has done a terrific job this year as the nurse. And as I said yesterday, we are so convinced this is a good idea that we've created a space in the Wellness Center for the nurses station. And next to her is Michael Kelly, who's one of the deans in Robert Sawyer's office. And most of you know Mr. Kelly, but just wanted to put a few names and faces together today, and appreciate your being here. I'm going to introduce, as I do in a customary way, the new faculty. They'll be pictured behind me. We first have Michelle, as I said, who has a tremendous amount of experience from her work and teaching at Vanderbilt University. The next faculty member is Joseph Bromfield, who grew up in Chattanooga, went to Macaulay School. Good for him to have that boys' school experience, so he's familiar with the turf at MBA. He went on to Rollins College, then to England, then to New York, and then back down south to the University of Virginia, where he got another degree and taught some at UVA, and we're proud to have him at MBA teaching English and theater this year. The next faculty member is Ed Caudell. I hired Ed in 1994, and he did a magnificent job here, and then left us for a while, a number of years, and then he and I talked about his coming back, and I'm really glad to have him back in the community and teaching math at MBA. The next individual is Michael Colavita. He's one of two choral teachers we now have. We decided to invest more in that program because we know music is a really important part of the school. Michael grew up in New Jersey, went to Washington and Lee, then to the University of Louisville. He has a lot of interests. You see, he minored in neuroscience. He's been involved with sports like tennis, so it's great to have him here. Next is Henry Diggins, who is the second chorus teacher I mentioned. He grew up in Birmingham. Went to Tulane, and then a graduate program at the University of Alabama. So he too has a good bit of musical experience, and we're pleased to have both of them at MBA. Will went to MBA and then to Carolina, where he majored in English and minored in biology and chemistry, and then was on the track team there. He'll be helping with English and science here and working with a number of sports. Beau Henson grew up in Illinois, went to Vandy, majored in theater and classic languages, did a lot of different things after Vandy, including spending some time in New York, working on his doctorate at the University of Southern California, participating in programs like Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where he was very successful. Somebody at lunch was just telling me that our son has him for class and saw him win his $250,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Next is Jamie O'Neill, who grew up in Trinidad, moved to Middle Tennessee when she was about 8, then went to college right across the street at the Dominican campus, and then worked in healthcare for a number of years. She and her husband are real interested in youth sports. They live in East Nashville. They set up a youth sports league in their free time, and she's going to be working in our wellness center, working with several offices on the campus. Hayden Smith grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, went to Charlotte Latin School, then to Middlebury College, where he majored in neuroscience, and then was captain of the baseball team. We love to hire some young people to come to MBA as interns. In fact, we've added about 5 new people as additions, not replacements, simply because we wanted to strengthen some programs and as I said, enjoy having these interns at MBA. Hayden's working with the science department and a number of athletic programs. And JoAnn Welch, who grew up in Nashville, went to UMFOG, then the University of Chicago, moved to Seattle, and taught there, and then got a graduate degree in mathematics. She coached the #2 math counts team in the country, and we're really pleased to have her working with our math teams and teaching math. Lastly, Ethan Young, who grew up in Knoxville, went to Farragut High School, then Yale University, came down to D.C. for a bit to work in the consulting world, then was accepted to the University of Cambridge, where he got another degree, was on their crew team. He's helping with our crew program here, and we're glad to have Ethan work with a variety of programs. MBA has 810 students this year. We have about 150 faculty. We have 3 separate campuses. This one here at Harding Road, 10 acres a mile and a half from here in Sylvan Park, and a little over 200 acres on a mountaintop about an hour and a half from here. We've been doing a lot of work on the campus, particularly the building to my left, right behind the theater. The Wellness Center is scheduled to be open in January. We're really excited about the building for a lot of reasons. I think it could be a great thing to open up in the midst, we hope at the end of this pandemic, I should say. And we have lots of plans for it, which I'll be speaking to you about through my newsletters and other means of communication over the next months. We also did some work at our Long Mountain property, where we put some cabins, some yurts, and a new pavilion. We can now sleep 166 people up there, so it's going to make a difference for somebody to go look at the stars with our observatory and then be able to spend the night up there or simply enjoy a weekend up there. So that is also a significant new development. The routines on campus are obviously different with COVID-19. You'd see tents, you'd see all sorts of mitigations about where people can walk or not walk, but generally things are relatively normal at school. We're glad to have the seniors here this week. I announced at this meeting that next Tuesday the 7th grade will be here, and I think within the next couple of weeks we'll see everybody back at MBA. You'll see an announcement from me very soon about that issue. But we still carry on very much the same by starting the school day with boys who come early to get help, and then to go to advisory at 7:50, and then to go to class. We still think that one of the best parts of MBA is its culture. The boys understand that everything's important, that we want to try to support everyone regardless of his interests. And I think we'll see that next week when we have a play. Frankenstein is the fall play this year. and we have a football game next Friday night. The theater department very sensitively moved the play to Friday afternoon since it's a home game and didn't want that conflict. And it's in that spirit of sort of working together and appreciating one another that everything is meant to be important. This luncheon is typically broken up into two sections where we focus on the 9th and the 10th and the 11th and the 12th, but it is probably not too much of an oversimplification to say the 9th and the 10th grades are typically much more about exploration, about membership, and about commitment. And by that I mean you're beginning to understand what you really want to be interested in those 2 years. And the last 2 years, I think, are much more about focus and leadership and mentorship. And I had a meeting early this morning at 7:15 with one of the seniors who is interested in going to as competitive a college as he can get into. He's trying to use sports to help leverage his admission, but he also is very aware of who he is and what he's interested in academically and personally. It was meaningful to hear him talk to me about his college essay that is about his being adopted by his parents. His sister was adopted as well. And it's at that point in the senior year where you want to see that growth and development and these aspirations. I'm sure that my colleagues will be talking a little bit more about that as they come up momentarily. I'm also here to remind you that we will have a virtual parents' night for the high school on Tuesday, September 15th. The way that will work is that you can tune in to watch an opening program, and then also on the Scholar section of our website, you can look at comments from your son's advisor as well as from each of his teachers. And you can do that on your own time, so you don't have to stay tuned in between, so let's say 6:30 and 9:30, as we typically would have on a parents' night. You can look at it when you can. As I said prior to this going live, that we had a little around 200 people plus tune in to yesterday, and we're expecting the same numbers or larger numbers for today, and then we hope for the next 2 weeks with these virtual parent nights. We are grateful to work with your sons. I'm really thankful, as I said at the beginning, for what the Mothers Club does and the Fathers Club does at MBA, and you'll see and hear in a moment from the mothers just how much they have figured out to work with some of the challenges. And I think that is what we want to teach your sons and the boys here, is that, you know, the more they figure out how to deal with adversity, the better their lives will be and the stronger and richer their experiences will be. I'm going to now ask Dr. Boyd to come up. It's great to be part of this program today. Please come up, Dr. Boyd.
So good afternoon. It's great to be with you all here today as well. I'm Tim Boyd. I'm the academic dean, and so I oversee in general the curriculum and the faculty issues, and a lot of the boys planning their course choices each year will come and talk to me. I also teach 2 classes of European history, and I'm going to have to go after this to teach a class, so I sort of grabbed a set of notes off my desk before I came here. I think it's the right set, but there's a 50% chance that you're going to hear about the political fragmentation of the Holy Roman Empire for about 10 minutes now. In any case, it's nice to be with you all again, even though this is not the way I ever thought we'd be doing something like this. In fairness, that seems like an appropriate tagline for 2020 as a whole. But nonetheless, it's been really great for me and all the faculty to be back in the classroom with the boys. And while we know we are not yet quite at the point of having them all here at the time, we're grateful more and more of them returning with each passing week, and we hope that they will all be back with us soon. Now, normally, I'd be using this opportunity to give you some general grade-specific advice on the academic challenges your sons might be facing over the coming year in the high school. That's a little more challenging this time now, given that it would entail blending a message that's equally relevant to a freshman and a senior, and that's not quite as easy to do, because I suspect that a message of, as your son adjusts to his first few weeks, please make sure he starts his college essay on time, would seem a little disjointed, although honestly, truly, as a conversation with Julia just confirmed, the pace at which these boys seem to go from being 9th to 12th graders sometimes makes it feel like we've barely shown them where their locker is before we watch them crossing the stage at graduation. So instead for this year, I want to take a slightly different tack and address a few topics that are probably common to all the high school boys precisely because of the unusual situation that we're operating in. And in some form, I gave this message to each of the grades at registration as well, so sort of reinforcing what we told them. The first point is to emphasize for them in terms of academics right now, take things seriously, but don't be too hard on yourself. This is an academically rigorous school. Both intellectually and logistically, we always ask a lot of our boys, and that is especially true right now. That being said, this is also a totally unfamiliar way of doing things. We hope it won't last too much longer, but for right now, it would be understandably disorienting. And especially for boys who are used to having certain routines and habits and who benefit from being in certain routines and habits, that can be an extra stressor. So our message to them and also to you is twofold. Please try your best, but please also reach out for help. Do not imagine that finding things a little more difficult than normal in terms of your studies right now reflects any shortcoming on your part. It is more likely a reflection of the situation we are in. This is a time when, to borrow from one of Mr. Tipps's favorite phrases, the rough side is going to drag a little. And when that happens, please let us help you figure out how best to handle it. Secondly, do not let the trees of the pandemic obscure the forest of your MBA experience. We all understand that the ongoing presence of the virus is not something that can be ignored, and that life is going to be a little different here for a while because of that. But we told the boys, please, to not let it become something all-consuming, to let it become all that they think about. We have tried to strike a balance between having a few hard and fast rules and guidelines for the boys to follow, and then providing as much flexibility and creativity for them to pursue their lives as MBA as we can. And so while we do want to make sure that they do such things as wear masks and appropriately distance in classrooms and buildings in particular, we do not want them to be thinking themselves as being purely in survival mode while they're on campus, constantly worrying about which exact protocol they're supposed to be following at which exact moment. We want the other elements of campus life to be available, even if they may be a little unusual. And I think the play that's happening this next week is going to be a great example of that. Dr. Fuller's had to find some creative ways to make it work in the current situation, but we absolutely want the play to be able to go ahead and for people to be here in the theatre to see it. Finally, there are some important nuts and bolts issues to be aware of that will apply this year just as much as any other year, though in this instance some of them do vary a little bit by grade. For 11th and 12th grade students, the college application process, which you'll hear from Mrs. Maddox about some more in a moment, is going to form a major part of their experience over the course of the year. From the standpoint of the seniors, it's going to be an extra lift they need this semester and hopefully a powerful motivator to them to keep their grades at least at the level they were last year and ideally even a little higher for this first semester in particular. For juniors, college may seem a little way away, but they also need to be aware that there are probably 3 critical semesters for college transcripts, and 2 of those comprise the fall and spring of the 11th grade. So our message to both these grades is to work closely with college counseling, just as college counseling will work closely with them and families, and above all, to help stay on top of deadlines. For all grades, there is still time to finalize your class selections for this year. We are in the add drop period until Friday, and students who feel they want to make a change should absolutely reach out about doing so. With nearly 3 weeks under their belts, they have a better sense now of whether their schedule is right for them than they did on day 1 of the school year. And as a reminder, it's not necessary to make a final decision on each class by Friday, especially in the case of wondering if maybe moving down a level is the right move, but we ask to at least start that conversation by Friday. So if you know that your sons are considering a change and have not done that, please encourage them to come and talk to me. And just to close on a note of optimism, I wanted to share one such instance of a class change that I think, unintentionally perhaps, contained an apt aspiration for all of us for the year ahead. So when we ask the students to make these changes, they have to fill out a 1-page form, and on it also asks them to give a reason for their change. And normally it's something pretty mundane. I'm more interested in this subject than the other one. I want to move up a level. I want to challenge myself more. I took on a little too much, something like that. So they all have to fill that out. And one 10th grader came to us and said he wanted to add French to his course schedule as a 6th class. And we said, that's great, go ahead. And then on the form as he filled out, and it said, why do you wish to make this change? And his reason said simply but eloquently, I've had a realization of the opportunities that lie ahead. And so I hope that for all the challenges of the start of this year, that all of us and all of your sons will find similar ways to realize the opportunities that still lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boyd. I'm Mr. Robert Sawyer, and I work in the Dean of the High School Office, along with Mr. Ronnie McMahon, Mr. Brooks Tate, Mr. Michael Kelly, Mr. Wynn Bassett, and Ms. Angela Power. Yesterday, I found myself out on the track. You may have recently seen that NBA has put down a beautiful brand new track surface, and which we painted later this week, in fact. And as I was out there looking at the track, I thought about the metaphor of running a race. Of course, 4 laps around the NBA track would comprise the mile race. And I thought about my friend, Mr. Russ, the cross-country and distance coach at NBA, and some of the advice that he might give to one of his mile runners, and how that might be applicable advice for us as we think about the NBA experience, the NBA journey from 9th through 12th grade. So in the first lap of the race, Mr. Russ would advise his runners to come off the starting line well, but under control. And that's probably a good analogy for 9th grade at NBA. 9th grade is a year in which students enter high school. Their horizons expand. They have new friends, teachers, coaches, even new buildings. 9th grade is a great time for students to explore their new interests, to see which ones fit. And so we might summarize the 9th grade experience at NBA by saying it's a year in which we want to encourage the boys to grow well. The second lap in a race is usually considered the one in which is most likely to have a let-up. There's even a name for this phenomenon. You may have heard of it in professional athletics, the sophomore slump. We don't believe the sophomore slump is inevitable, but we do think it's something that should be watched out for and guarded against. The advice that Coach Russ would likely give to his runners in the second lap of the race, would be to stay with the pack and to trust their training. And that's probably good advice for us as we think about the 10th grade year at NBA as well. 10th grade year is characterized by students beginning to drive more, varsity sports, further involvement in exclusively high school activities, and a growing amount of independence. Maintaining and developing good friends, remaining intentional about relationships and routines is especially important in the 10th grade. Character development, service, hard work are things that we emphasize for the 10th graders here at NBA, along the lines of sowing seeds now, which will reap a harvest later. And so we might characterize the 10th grade year at NBA with the phrase, sustaining well. The third lap of a mile race, of course, begins the second half of the race. Coach Russ would advise his runners that they can't win the race in the first 3 laps, but if they're not careful, they could lose it. The junior year at NBA is a year in which the students begin to take over the leadership mantle of the school. The college process is more and more becoming important, but in some ways it still feels around the next curve. We're not quite on the straightaway yet. Managing freedom well is an important aspect of the junior year at NBA. It requires focus and responsibility from the students. It's a time in which we encourage the boys to identify their interests and to dive more deeply into them. And so we might say that the junior year at NBA is characterized by the phrase, focus well. And then finally, the senior year, the 4th lap in the race. A bell goes off at the beginning of the final lap. It's the bell lap. It's met with fanfare and excitement. Coach Russ would remind his runners that it's not how you start, but it's how you finish a race that counts. The senior year at NBA is simultaneously a celebration of much of what we've been working for, while also remembering that there is still work to be done. A celebration of the ending of your son's high school career, his moving off into the real world, while also making sure that he's ready to do so. Some of the things that we emphasize for the 12th graders at NBA include leadership, leaving a legacy at the school. And so we could summarize the emphasis of that year with the phrase, finish well. So you've heard me use the words well several times in describing the race, the 4-year race of high school at NBA. Growing well, sustaining well, focusing well, and finishing well. As Mr. Joy mentioned, to my left is the new Wellness Center, which will open this winter. As you may know, wellness is actually the theme of our year at NBA this year. And we think of the word wellness as an important one that will hopefully guide us this year and really could probably be the theme for our year every year. So our office wants to assist your son in the following areas, all of which relate to his wellness. Learning to manage freedoms, good choices about alcohol, substance abuse, social media and females, gentlemanly behavior and discipline, camaraderie, school spirit and friendships, service and leadership, inclusion, empathy, citizenship. Coach Russ's final piece of advice on a race, though, is one that we should not overlook. Remember to run your race. The goal isn't simply to win in a race. That depends too much on the other people in the race. We would advise all of our runners on our track team and all of our students at our school to run their race, to do their best. This year, may we all be well, especially in this time of this challenging time of world history, and may we run the race well. My office and I look forward to helping your son do that. Please let us know if we can in any way. Let's make it a great year.
Well, good afternoon. I am Jenny Maddox, and I have the great pleasure of being the Director of College Counseling here at MBA. And I love all of this stuff that we talk about because I think that when I think about college counseling, it is about the journey. It is about that 4-year journey and maybe that 4-lane race or four laps that we do. So as we start, I thought it would be really important that I introduce our team to you. So in the College Counseling Office, we do think of it as a team, and there are a lot of people here who are here to help you and your sons. So I am the director, but I also have the great good fortune of working with Dick Klausner, who a lot of people know because he is an MBA alum. He teaches English and coaches soccer. Julia Wilk is our office manager, and many of you know her. She's a fellow mom. I'm also a mom. I have a 10th grader here as well, and so I think, as a parent, both Julia and I bring that perspective of thinking about what it is that is important to our sons, and maybe for better or worse, transferring that to all of you and your sons. So that's who she is. We also have Pat Killian, who is also a teacher and coach. Leslie Sandifer, who is in college counseling primarily, but also serves as a coach. And then this year we have Ethan Young, who is helping on campus with some special programs. So he's spending a lot of time in Brad's office, but he's also helping us with some things in college counseling as well. And I start with that because we have a team approach in college counseling. So the reality of what we do is that we are trying to help the boys, as Mr. Sawyer said, as Robert said, think about their journey. This is a journey, and every boy is going to go to college when they leave MBA. That is the goal of why they are here, why you have them here. But each of their journeys and each of their paths through MBA is going to be different, and we want them to be thoughtful and mindful about that. So this year, as with every year, we met with every class during registration. And that is really important because we take them where they are and we help them think about the developmental processes and what they need to be thinking about that year, more often than not just for college, but really about engaging here at MBA. Freshman year, that's definitely one of those things that we do with them is say, set your goals, what's available to you. We really rethought, as everybody has been doing, with all of the programs that are happening across the world and in so many ways. College counseling, we started rethinking things in March. As soon as things changed, we started thinking about how are we going to do this differently. That was something that we had to do in order to make certain that these boys are getting what they need, and so we did that, and we hope that we will continue to do that. One of the things that definitely happened with all of that, sorry, I'm getting my notes here, I'm feeling like a student, is we made certain that we talked about testing because all of the boys will take testing this year. So the PSAT will happen again on October 14th. It is our intention to deliver that as we always have through grades 8 through 11. We will do that in a socially distanced manner so that the boys will have that opportunity to think about, not to take that test, but also to have that opportunity to practice. 11th grade is when it counts for national merit. All of the other years are practice. And so you all are receiving information about that. And we talked to the boys a little bit about that. Like I said, 9th and 10th grade, setting their goals, understanding that this is one of those things that they're doing for practice. For 11th graders, thinking about those types of things. The other thing I wanted to make certain, or sorry, if you could go back. The testing, we are doing school-based testing for our seniors this year, and this is the first time that we will do that, or that we have done that, and we are excited about that. So that is something that is happening for just the seniors. We are hoping that the world will open up again in the spring and it will be more normal and students will be able to have that. But in this time, when the seniors haven't been able to have the testing off campus, that's something that we have done. I also wanted to make certain that we are pushing out a lot of information. Our theme for the year is over-communication. We'll probably continue that as we move forward. But we want you all to communicate with us as much as possible as parents to let us know how we can help you. But we also know that there's a lot of information that is out there, and we want to give you good information. So every week on the parents' newsletter, you can go to the bottom and there's a college counseling button. We will ask that you do that because it is important. We're trying to make certain that you get good information so that at the bottom, or when you open that up or you hit that tab, you're going to see some information that is useful for everybody. So that's all high school information. And then we will also have seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. So whatever is relevant to your son and his class should be in that weekly newsletter. Julia is also pushing out a lot of emails to you all, so we apologize, but we sort of apologize and then don't apologize at the same time. We would rather have you have information than not. And that is class-specific. And so you're going to get a lot of class-specific information from Julia Wilk. We have told the boys this is a really important time. It's always a really important time to read their email and respond, but this is a super important time for them to do that. We also ask for your help because we know that sometimes they are not reading that email in the same kind of way that they would normally be able to get it in other formats. And so if you would make certain that you're reinforcing some stuff with your sons, we appreciate that as well. The other thing that is important, sorry, I'm going here, college visits. We have moved all of our college visits online. So for the juniors and seniors, they've been doing Zoom visits, and so that is something that we are actually capturing. We're recording all of those, and we are putting those behind our password, or on Scholar behind the login. So that is information that the boys will have access to. You all have access to that as well. And then I'm going to go over the college resources on Scholar, because the reality is, because we're trying to over-communicate, but we're also trying to make certain that you have what you need when you need it. So if we go, now we can move forward, sorry. So my poor son gets to be my guinea pig, but this is what you will see if you log on and you go to the progress. So if you see this, I didn't show you his grades because nobody needs to see those. But if you go all the way to the bottom on the activities, any boy who is in the high school has a college counseling and then has their class year. So if we go to the next one, when you go there, this is what you will see. And this is just the top of it, but this shows you some helpful links on here. SCORE on the right-hand side is our platform that we use for all college counseling information. It's how we process information. We will ask you, actually we asked all parents to log on. I shouldn't say that freshmen, you don't have it yet. Freshman college night, you will get this. But for our sophomores through senior parents, there's actually a survey on SCORE that we've asked you to fill out about what happened last spring, this summer, during this time, so we can capture that moment, this time, and have that for as we move forward. If you ever want to sign up for an appointment, if you click on any of our names, that will take you to the electronic calendar, and you can schedule that way. If we go to the next page. This is a place I think most of you will spend a lot of time. If you come to the Topics tab, Julia has put a ton of resources behind each one of these pages. So if you click on any of these, you will actually see, like the first one there is the college virtual chats. So if you click there, it will show all, or you can see the list of all of the college visits that we have done, the Zoom recordings of those, so you can have that. I'm going to go to the next one. This one I wanted to show you because we have the financial aid and scholarship information. That's a great place for you to go, whether you're early in high school or later in high school. There's some information that you can find there about both of those processes. The financial aid program that we did is actually going to be someplace else, but that's a lot of great information. We actually learned through our Zoom meetings from our Indiana University representative about a great resource that they have on their website, and so we put it on here. So we're trying to, as much as possible, to collect information and put this up for you. And if we go to the next one, this is where the archive programs are. So if we send out a message to any of you or we do a program, this is where you can find those video links as well. So we're just putting all that information out there so that you will have access to what you need. I think what I will say to you all as moms, as you think about this process and as you think of college, the boys are okay. It's going to be okay. As we do these Zoom meetings with colleges across the country, what we are hearing from all of them is relax. Everybody's in the same boat. It's going to be okay. This process remains relatively the same as it has always been. And so that's one thing that I take comfort in, is that the process isn't changing. Right now, test optional is a big part of the process. A lot of our boys will have tests, and that's a good thing. But the reality is that what colleges and universities are saying, that they're going to look at the strength of the high school where the student goes to, they're going to look at their essays, and those are things that we know the strength of the program at MBA is without question. We work with the boys a lot with their essays to make certain that they are as strong as they can be as they are seniors. So what we are doing right now, and we're so glad that the seniors are all back on campus because it's a lot easier to get them in and make certain that they're working with us when they're actually here on campus. But they've done a great job with Zoom. But we are here to help them with all of those processes, and so we make certain that that is what we focus on and what we do. We also work really hard to maintain relationships with colleges and universities across the country, and we're doing that via Zoom and a lot of other ways as well right now. Normally we travel a lot, but we're both in and off campus, on and off campus people, and so that's something that you should know, that we are not stopping that. We are continuing to do that and to build on that. As I end, I'm just going to say to you all, we are here to help. We want to know what you need help with. Sometimes parents will say, I didn't want to bother you. I know you have a lot going on. That is why we are here. So if there is something that we can help you with, please let us know. It is super important for us that you communicate with us. As we over-communicate with you this year, we hope you will also over-communicate with us, regardless of whatever class year your son is in. So thank you all so much, and thanks for having me.
Hello, Mr. Joya said I could remove this for this talk. Hi, I want to welcome all the high school moms who are joining us today from home. My name is Paige Hill, and I am delighted to serve this year as your Mother's Club president. A bit about me, because I was told that I should. This is my 7th year as an MBA parent. I am married to Travis, and we have 2 boys, Pierce, who is a junior here at MBA, and Grayson, who is a 2020 graduate and is now a freshman at Wake Forest. My past life included practicing law, working for an anti-human trafficking group, and most recently working for a local interior designer. I have to say, though, that this role as Mother's Club president is turning out to be one of the most interesting yet. I would like to introduce you to my friend and your president-elect, Christy Skeeters. Christy is married to Jonathan, and they have 2 boys, Mason, who is a senior, and Ryan, who is in 8th grade. Christy worked for years at Vanderbilt in human resources, and she still volunteers there even today. Christy has held every imaginable volunteer role in the Mother's Club, and y'all are in great hands next year. I am thrilled to be here today at our virtual class luncheon to briefly touch on what the Mother's Club at MBA is all about. I'll be honest, it feels a little weird to be here and not see all of your smiling faces staring back at me. I miss that. I miss my MBA mom friends. I miss the opportunity to meet the new moms face to face right now. However, I know this is temporary and we will all be together soon. So a little bit about the Mother's Club. We are fun. At least we think we are. We are a motley group of imperfect moms from different backgrounds, different zip codes, with different parenting styles and philosophies. But the one thing we have in common is we all love and adore our sons. I love this quote by the late artist Pablo Picasso. He said, "When I was a child, my mother said to me, 'If you are a soldier, you will become a general. If you are a monk, you will become the Pope.' Instead, I was a painter and became Picasso." So much like Picasso's mother, we all believe in the very best in our boys. We have hopes, dreams, and aspirations for them, but in the end, we want them to find their own unique path, and they will. A personal example is my older son took art his freshman year here at MBA. Honestly, just as a requirement, he just wanted to cross it off the list. But what he found was a subject that made him come alive. And now he is pursuing studio art as a minor in college. And I give full credit to encouraging teachers like Catherine Hollyfield, who believed in him and fostered his love of art. At MBA, the boys are exposed to a wide range of enrichments, and you just never know what will spark something in them. To the freshmen and sophomore moms out there, I would say I'm a little jealous that you still have 3 or 4 years ahead of you at MBA. The junior and senior moms, I feel like the clock is ticking for us. But I hope you will find, or have found, as I have, that MBA not only builds our boys into great young men, but that also welcomes the moms of these fine boys to come and be a part of their journey here. Beyond loving our boys, the purpose of the Mothers Club is threefold. 1, to enhance the partnership between students, faculty, administration, and parents. 2, to raise money that enriches the school beyond the school budget. 3, to promote a sense of community where moms are welcomed onto campus to share of their time and their talents. All of these are important, but you can't raise money or foster partnerships without first building community, which leads me to our theme for this year, building community safely. Our goal has always been to build community. It is the pillar of who we are and what we do. During these unusual times, we are still called to build community. We will just focus on doing it safely. Please know that I recognize that this season we are in is hard. I know many families have suffered and are still suffering. Hybrid school can be hard. Canceled or modified athletics is hard. Having enough food for at-home learning days is hard for me. I watched my son's senior year, spring semester, disappear, and it was hard. But today I'm asking each of you to lean into the hard with me. As moms, we know how to do this. We were born for hard. But please hear me when I say there is much fun to be had. And there are amazing MBA traditions and celebrations and events that I am certain will happen this year. But in the meantime, as we focus on the process of bringing and keeping our boys on campus full time, let's commit to joyfully getting through the hard together. As you have probably noticed, the Mothers Club communicates a lot. I promise we are intentional and we try to space out the emails, but there's just a lot to say sometimes. We have so many fun, safe events still in the works for this year, such as a new diversity and inclusion initiative, virtual book clubs, an all Mothers Club read, guest experts on raising boys, and many more. You can stay on top of all things Mothers Club by looking at the following. Brad's newsletter that comes out on Wednesdays. There is a link to a Mothers Club newsletter, and I update that weekly. The MBA website has a Mothers Club page. Thank you to Suzanne Stewart for always keeping it updated for us. You can find the Volunteer Now button on the Mothers Club page, and I want to thank Laura Green for managing and coordinating all of our volunteers this year. The Mothers Club is also on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and Deb Lawson does an amazing job at keeping that current. I want to take a moment to thank the moms who are serving in leadership positions this year. I am clearly biased, but I think we have the most dynamic group of moms this year. Y'all are thoughtful, kind, energetic, and willing to imagine, reimagine, and then reimagine again every event as we adapt to all the changes. I have been so encouraged by each of you, and I can't thank you enough for that. I would like to recognize Beth Coast and Tanya Stevens for helping with this luncheon from afar. Beth is our class mother coordinator, and Tanya serves in that step-up role. These ladies have been and will continue to be instrumental in facilitating community within each grade. They are working closely with the amazing class moms who you will hear from next. Please feel free to reach out to any of them at any time if you have ideas on how your grade might safely interact this fall. I also want to say thank you to the amazing MBA IT team. We could not do this without them. What they do is above my pay grade, and I so appreciate all their help this year. In closing, I just want to say, mom to mom, soak it up. We all know the old adage of the more you put into something, the more you get out. I am telling y'all that this rings true as a Mothers Club volunteer. I have met some of the most delightful women during volunteer shifts, women who have truly enriched my life. These are moms I might never have known otherwise. Building community truly starts with each of us. You won't regret showing up, because in the blink of an eye, you will have just dropped your son off at college, and you will long for more moments with him at his beloved school. Thank you so much. And up next, we have some amazing class moms who are going to come up here and speak. If y'all want to come on up, you can. This is a seasoned and motivated group of women, and I'm so grateful for their leadership.
Thank you, Paige. I'm Julie Caldwell. I am one of the class moms during the first lap. So we are meeting together, not too infrequently, but we're trying to be creative with ways that we can gather and build community. We first want to welcome new students and new parents. We're glad to have you here. It's an amazing community, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Our sort of motto this year is adhere to safety protocols so we can get all the boys back on campus as soon as possible. So safety is key, and MBA has done a great job so far in making sure the boys adhere to that. In the 9th grade, we also want to promote supporting each other and building a cohesive unit that's inclusive and supportive. So we're on a journey, and it's killing me to hear all these moms say, oh, I wish I had a 9th grader. I'm scared after all of this. But we want you guys to know that we're on pause for now with our activities in 9th grade, like the patch ceremony, homecoming, some of the rites of passage that are important to 9th grade. These are on pause, but we are discussing, and we hope to have a plan when we're able. Reach out to any of us. Here are my fellow class moms. We are going to send a follow-up email with all of our contact information after this luncheon. If you want to feel connected or find ways to get connected or just need support, please feel free to reach out to us. You can follow us on social media. MBA Parents 2024 is the Instagram, and MBA Class of 2024 is the Facebook. So with that being said, we look forward to an interesting 9th grade and hope to get the boys back as soon as we can so we can really push them on that first lap. Caroline Lindsay is a 10th grade class mother, and she is going to speak.
I'm so glad to represent the 10th grade moms. So glad to see you guys, even if it's just your eyes, today. And I know that you are like us, not lacking on enthusiasm. We're excited. We're not going to have a sophomore slump. It's going to be a great year. We're going to push through. These are the other gals that are with me on the committee. I don't believe we have any new families in the 10th grade this year. I don't know if that makes us professionals but if there's any questions, if anybody has any suggestions or if any concerns, please reach out to one of us, and we'll be happy to help you out if we can. We too, to be a little bit redundant, but we too would love to get some things going but are kind of on pause. And I feel like that's the way the world is right now, but that's okay. We're on shifting sands and we're going to roll with it. So the 10th grade moms have got lots of things in the work, maybe some small group walks and some different coffees and whatnot, but only when we get the okay, safety-wise. And please join us also on Facebook. I think we're MBA Class of 2023 Parents, and then on Instagram, it's MBA Parents 2023. So I think that's it. So next is Mary Pierce.
Thank you. I'm Mary Pierce, representing the class of 2022. And like the rest of us, we're on social media, and we hope that you'll follow us. Facebook is MBA Class of 2022, and Instagram is MBA 2022 Parents. I know we have 140 boys in the grade, but we only have 72 members on Facebook and 75 on Instagram. So hopefully we can get those numbers up. So please go follow us if you're not already, because that is how we'll communicate the upcoming gatherings that we're able to have. So in the meantime, do reach out. I'd love to go for a walk. Any of us are open for questions. And we just want to build community this year and help our boys make the most of the last 2 years they have at this special place. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending. My name is Denise Bilardo, mother of Joseph Bilardo, and I have the pleasure of serving as one of the 12th grade representatives this year, along with Mary Lauren Allen, Meg Haley, and Paula Keinert. As we ease into a fall that looks somewhat different than most, we want you to know that we are committed to finding ways to cultivate community and to celebrate the class of 2021. I do have a few brief things to share with you. First, Mary Lauren Allen spearheaded an effort to obtain senior t-shirts for the class of 2021, and by all accounts, those have been well received. If anyone in your house would like a class of 2021 t-shirt, or if your son would like another one, we are planning another order. Check your email for a square link enclosed in which to place your order. Second, in keeping with the senior tradition, parents will be providing snacks at the end of the senior class meetings this year. The snacks will be individually wrapped so the students can grab and go. Look for a sign-up genius coming in your email so you can support this effort and participate. Thirdly, we'd like to hear from you. If you are interested in perhaps being part of a small group this fall, meeting virtually at first, with a view toward in-person meetings when MBA feels like that's appropriate, please email any one of us and express your level of interest. And finally, for the most up-to-date news and postings, please follow us on social media. Facebook is MBA Class of 2021 Parents, and Instagram is MBA 2021 Parents. We wish you a healthy fall, and thank you very much. You are about to hear next from the dynamic duo of Kara Cruz and Mary Sensing, who are chairing this year's Spaghetti Supper. I can't begin to tell you how hard they've worked to reinvent our biggest fundraiser and the most time-honored tradition at MBA. They have been working on the 76th annual Spaghetti Supper now for a year, and I am so thankful for all that they have done. I promise you will want to support the Spaghetti Supper if for no other reason than Mary and Kara are two of the nicest people you will ever meet. And it's a treat also to have Ebony here today, as well as Anne Elizabeth, who will be speaking about Spaghetti Supper as well. So, welcome, Mary.
Hello, I am Mary Sensing, and I have 2 boys. I have one who just graduated and has started his freshman year at Vanderbilt, and then I have a junior here as well. Kara Cruz and I are chairing the 76th annual Spaghetti Supper that will be October the 2nd. Kara's going to come up in just a few minutes. We're saving the best for last. Spaghetti Supper is the largest, Spaghetti Supper is a fundraiser. It's a community builder, and that motivates me and excites me. It is also the largest Mothers Club fundraiser, and the money raised directly impacts each student and assists the administration in providing exceptional experiences for our boys. Historically, Spaghetti Supper has been a time to gather with friends and family and supporters of the MBA community before the homecoming game. Weeks leading up to the Spaghetti Supper are filled with special events that bring together the MBA community to honor the school's past and to celebrate its future. This year, we have had to make a few modifications. I've thought lately about a story that I heard from someone who chaired this event many years ago. Families would cook spaghetti at their homes following a very specific recipe, and they would bring it to school where they would serve spaghetti to the community. They would drive with their pots of spaghetti and load it up in a wagon and carry the pots to the gym where it would be served. And let me just assure you, things have changed. In this instance, the wagon toppled over and spaghetti spilled all over Montgomery Bell Avenue. I can only imagine the shock, the panic, and the laughter. Kara and I can somewhat relate to this story. Our efforts of following the plans of those who went before us came to a jarring halt in March, and it felt like everything fell apart, like spaghetti spilled all over Montgomery Bell Avenue. But with Paige's leadership, we decided to make the best of some challenging circumstances and began reimagining the events around Spaghetti Supper. We have some great initiatives to share with you all. We are so excited to tell you that so many of the traditions, the things that you love about the fall and Spaghetti Supper, they will still be the same. We are serving spaghetti. It will just be takeout version. We have student-designed t-shirts. We have fabulous MBA red mums. We have a bake sale. It will just look a little different this year. We are continuing to partner with Second Harvest, and we have a great team of women who have worked and are working really hard on that effort. We have come up with some fun ways to celebrate the boys on campus. And Kara and I are super excited to tell you all about the website that we have that is new this year. It's mbaspaghettisupper.com. We have worked really hard to make sure that any and all information you would need to know is on that website. All of our fun sales, everything about Second Harvest is all on that website. So check it out and have fun. Spaghetti Supper this year, I want to highlight, will be carry-out only. All information, again, is on the website. Our sons will be required to sell 5 tickets this year, but there are opportunities to donate more, and there are fun sales to participate in. Right now, I want to introduce Ebony Heron, who is going to talk to you about Second Harvest, and then we'll have a few other speakers, and Kara Cruz will wrap up our Spaghetti Supper talk. Thanks, Ebony.
Thanks. As Mary introduced me, I'm Ebony Heron, and my son is part of the class of 2022. And so, as she indicated, there will be some changes this year with the Spaghetti Supper, but as far as Second Harvest, nothing is really changing besides the need here in the Nashville area. Between the devastating tornadoes that hit our city last March, to the continued financial impact of COVID-19, families who never expected to need food assistance are contacting Second Harvest each week. This time last year, Second Harvest distributed an average of 600,000 pounds of food to families in need each week. This year, they are distributing 1 million pounds of food weekly. That's a 67% increase. Also, grocery store donations have declined by 30%, and food drive donations are at a standstill. Our committee of Noel Kinzer, Sean Hale, Mary Pierce, and myself see this as an incredible opportunity for NBA to step up and lead our community in making 2020 the largest food drive yet. We believe our boys can achieve 100% participation, and we hope you will encourage them to be creative in collecting food and/or monetary donations. They'll be hearing more about ways to do this, like asking for a jar of peanut butter while selling Spaghetti Supper tickets to neighbors and friends, or organizing a small food drive on their block. Our team is working with Mrs. Stewart and Mr. Sawyer for a never-seen-before event should we reach that 100% participation goal. Individually and by advisory, the boys will be well rewarded for their efforts, and our prize patrol has arranged several gift baskets stocked with lots of NBA merchandise from the Big Red Store for our top winners, as well as Chick-fil-A gift cards to the winning advisories. We're also working to finalize some great incentives for the boys that involve coveted opportunities in the age of COVID. So we ask you to stay tuned for more details, but please mark your calendars for the following dates. Tuesday to Friday, September 22nd to 25th, are food drop-off days here at NBA, from 7 a.m. to 8:30 each morning. Friday, September 25th, is Peanut Butter Day. The donation button is live now, so go ahead and start donating. Start adding an extra jar or two of peanut butter each week when you grocery shop between now and September 25th. And we're proud to say that after yesterday's junior school luncheon, we're already off to a great start. We have monetary donations rolling in, and we have families already picking up those Costco double packs of peanut butter. So thank you, and we're just looking forward to 100% participation from our boys and just a monumental year for NBA with Second Harvest donations. So now I'd like to introduce Ann Elizabeth to update on the bake sale.
Hi there, I'm Ann Elizabeth McIntosh Tachek, long name. I have a son, Andrew, that graduated in 2019, and my stepson, Cabe Tachek, is a junior in the class of 2022. I am so excited that this year's bake sale has taken a really fun turn, and I've had the privilege of working with Caroline Lindsay, Angela Bosselman, and Andra Perkerson on this project. We are introducing a Nod to Nashville care package box that you can send to friends and family, your kids in college, people that are near, people that are far, and it's a great way to support not only MBA but our local businesses who have also been hit hard during this time. The items included are all local Nashville items, a bag of toffee popcorn from Nashville Toffee Company, a Grab the Gold bar, Loveless Cafe beef jerky, boys love that. Pasta from the Pasta Shop, thank you to the Aaron family for that. 2 custom iced cookies, some custom Frost Flex cups, and some fun napkins that say, Good Vibes Only Nashville, which is, I think, a great theme for this year. So we're really excited. Orders are open now on the website, and you can order through September 16th. We will ship it for you for an extra $10. The box itself is $45 and can be picked up on Saturday, October the 3rd. So we really are excited that this got to be part of our project this year in changing some things. So any questions, feel free to ask me, but we are really excited about this, and we think it's a great way to send out some good vibes to our boys, to friends, to family, people all across the country. So thank you. I'm now going to introduce Kara Cruz.
Hi, my son Clay is a senior, and I'm so excited to be co-chairing Spaghetti Supper with Mary Sensing this year. I'm going to share with you a couple of the ways that the bake sale has been reimagined. The team has planned 2 special treat days for all of the boys. We're going to have a sweet day and a savory day and surprise them Spirit Week. We did not forget about the parents, grandparents, and friends of MBA. We know how much you love to come shop at our bake sale. We're partnering with Dessert Designs to offer bakery boxes. And we have a chocolate cake box and we have a caramel cake box because we did not want you to have to choose. They're both so great. Please visit MBASpaghettiSupper.com where you can find everything you need to decide how you're going to pick it up and how you're going to order. And for a small delivery charge, our bake sale team is happy to deliver it to your house. Normally at this luncheon, we do a drawing for a door prize. So we put all of the high school boys' names in a hat, and 2 lucky moms are going to win a Dessert Designs cake box today. And our bake sale team will be reaching out to you later this week to arrange delivery. So I'm excited to tell you that Austin Knath's mom, Lori, from the 9th grade, has won one of the boxes. And William Curley's mom, Sean, has won the other. So congratulations, ladies. Please reach out to Mary, Paige, me, or any of the Mothers Club volunteers if you have any questions about spaghetti supper or something else, because it's going to be a great year. Thank you.
Up next, these ladies could run a Fortune 500 company, and they probably did in a previous life. Julia Goss, Stephanie Pease, and Jill Stroud have worked tirelessly since June to order merchandise that your boys come home and say that they want. And Julia and Stephanie are here today. So thank you, gals.
Hi, I'm Julia Gall, and this is Stephanie Pease. And quickly, I know that we have a lot to cover today. So quickly, we'll just tell you that we're the Big Red Store chairs this year, and we have 3 step-ups, Edith Kirkland, Beth Kirkland, and Kitsy Hales, that are working really hard with us to bring you everything you need from the Big Red Store. The Big Red campus store is currently closed, but we are really excited and grateful to the school that they are now allowing us to have in-person shopping starting September 11th in the Lowry Circle parking garage. So we will have a pop-up store starting September 11th, and then every Friday after that. It will be open till 3 o'clock on most Fridays, and then on home games we'll extend the hours till 8 o'clock. So come see us in person. That's really exciting for us. And also we do have the online store. Everything in the store is online. It's nbaBigRedStore.com, 24 hours, 7 days a week shopping. And we also now offer local pickup on Fridays, so you can either do quick shipping or local pickup. It's kind of the year of the outdoors with COVID, so we have a lot of things to show you quickly. Stephanie has our Long Mountain shirt. You can see the observatory back here. We also have a Long Mountain bandana that is topographically accurate. We have a camp mug. Over there you'll see a lot of other items. I'm wearing a little emergency poncho that will come in very handy next Friday night. So, and currently we're also having a Labor Day hat sale, so go visit online and you'll see that all our hats are 20% off. Regardless of whether or not you can attend the game next Friday or you're going to live stream it at home, please stop in next Friday and get your fan gear or shop online. Thank you for your time.
In my opinion, the Sunshine Committee does some of the most meaningful work of the Mothers Club. We want to be a community who cares for one another, and that's exactly what the Sunshine Committee is all about. This is Kisha Campbell's second year to serve on this committee, and I'm so grateful for her heart and for her leadership, and for her team of Jennifer Adams, Kathy Billings, and Laurel Ditto. Kisha is here today.
Thank you, Paige. Again, I'm Kisha Campbell, and I'm representing the Sunshine Committee. And our focus is to encourage and support and care for the MBA community, and starting with students, their families, our faculty and staff. And we get the privilege of being able, when new babies are coming or weddings, to get to celebrate those times with the faculty and staff. And then also to encourage and care and support our community when we have students who are injured in sports, or if we have families who are dealing with a long-term illness, who are having surgery, who may be walking through cancer or other medical challenges that they may be encountering. And we get to do this through words of encouragement, support, written notes, meals, and cards, flowers, small gifts. And we just want you to know that when you share things with us, that is in confidence, and we realize that that's a part of your story, and we protect that and honor that. So please know that anything that is shared is in confidence. And so if you have a point that you would like to share something with us, that can be done through, there is a link on the Mothers Club page for Sunshine Committee, as well as you could contact any of us directly. You could reach out to Robert Sawyer, or any of the class moms would be able to get in touch with us also. So thank you so much.
The terrific trio of Kelly Dillon, Martha Allrod, and Elizabeth Wade are the masterminds behind this year's first ever virtual art show. They have spent countless hours researching how to make this possible, and as of a few days ago, we have the most artists who have ever applied to an MBA art show. So we are really excited, and Elizabeth and Kelly are here today to share some more information.
Good morning, I'm Elizabeth Wade, and I have a 7th grader and a 9th grader.
I'm Kelly Dillon. I have a senior here, and I also have a 6th grader who is hoping to attend next year. And we are so excited to be able to announce the virtual art show. So we'll make this short and sweet. The dates are November 12th through November 15th, Thursday through Sunday. So mark your calendars for Thursday afternoon, November 12th. Our brand new art show website will officially be open for business. We have had a tremendous response for applications. Not only do we have our local and regional artists, we have artists who have applied from California, Colorado, Texas, so we're really excited about that.
Yes, so definitely get familiar with our website. It's mbaartshow.com, and starting Friday, which is tomorrow, we'll be announcing all of our 2020 artists. So it's going to be really exciting. I hope you'll keep checking back. We'll also be showcasing some possible studio artist studio visits, as well as a little bit of information about each artist.
That's right, and much like the Big Red Store, the great thing is you can now shop 24/7. So, and we will be communicating a lot more in between now and then.
Yeah, so tell your family. Some artists will be shipping, I believe we're still working out some of the details, but there will be pickup, so it can be shoppers from all over, which is really exciting.
Thank you.
The Poinsettia sales team is comprised of some amazing junior moms, Allie Davis, Kathy Crum, and Jenny Linderman, who have been busy getting ready to roll out this initiative later this month. The money directly benefits the junior class to help put on the junior-senior prom. Who doesn't love poinsettias and who doesn't love proms? So please support this initiative, and Kathy is here to give you just a little more information.
Hi, I tried to find my Santa Claus hat to wear today, but it's buried deep in the Christmas stuff. So anyway, Allie and Jenny and I are really excited to chair this event, or this fundraiser for the junior class. We want to make this a really special prom because the seniors didn't have one last year. And the sale will begin in late September. The pickup day will be November 30th, which is the Monday after Thanksgiving. This is a junior class project, but we want to extend it to the whole community. So tell your friends. These poinsettias, as you know, most of you have seen them. They're gorgeous. They're full and really make a spectacular presentation. The amaryllis, we're also selling again this year, are not going to be blooming yet, but when they do bloom, they are incredible. These flowers are perfect to decorate for Christmas, and they also make great gifts for families, friends, and neighbors. During this time, we definitely need to feel the spirit of the season, and this is a great way to do that. We want to raise enough money to make this an unforgettable prom, and I hope that you will help us achieve our goal. You won't be disappointed.
Okay, and to close us out today, Ebony Heron is going to come back up here to talk about the Moms in Prayer group at MBA. This is where Ebony's heart is, and I'm just so grateful for her leadership. So come on up. Thank you.
As Paige mentioned, just like Second Harvest, this topic, prayers, is really passionate to me. And so more than ever, again, MBA needs prayer, and we meet as a community, MBA moms, once a month. We pray for the boys, the school, the faculty, the staff, and administration. And so we wanted to invite all of the moms. It's not class specific, so we would like to welcome you to come and join us. Sarah Englert, She's a ninth grade mom. She is leading this effort this year and pulling this all together. Each month, different moms, they take the lead, take the reins of it, but no pressure at all. We would love for you to come. Our first meeting will be the Monday after Labor Day, September 14th at 8 a.m., just really quick hour, 8 to 9, at the home of Brooke Keene. Brooke's address is 2415 Valley Brook Road, and so going forward, we'll meet the second Monday of every month. So right now, the 2 dates that we have on the books are Monday, outside of the 14th, so September 14th, October 12th, and then November 9th. Those are the dates that we have, but we would love for you to come, pray for the school, and just meet new moms and just gather and together for a sense of community. So thank you.
That concludes our program. Again, I thank those colleagues of mine for speaking today and all the moms, and I hope you saw what I said at the very beginning, that it's inspirational to see the ways in which they have reimagined things in a year that we need that imagination and we need that flexibility and nimbleness. So thanks very much. Hope you have a great day.